You're listening to the Medic Materials Podcast, hosted by Mike Turek, Emily Yates, Kelsey Coons, and Gerard Cuomo. Each month, we discuss EMS news, medical science, and review actual EMS calls, bringing many educational opportunities to the listener. Portions of the calls have been altered to protect the privacy and identity of all involved.
Hello and welcome everyone back to the Medic Materials Podcast. Welcome to the Phil Foundation. Welcome to the Maha Butchie. And guys, we have a surprise. You don't know who's sitting here with us, but it's April 1st, which means it's this individual's favorite day of the year. Past listeners of past episodes would know that last year on this day, this individual pissed me off enough to not be reinvited back for another year. So we welcome our clinical coordinator back to the show.
Kelly, 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 Kelly. Kelly, 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 K-E-L-L-Y. Why? Because you're Kelly, 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 Kelly of mine.
We have to welcome Kelly back to the show. So Kelly is on the stream with us. Hopefully she'll talk a lot today, give us some good insight and knowledge on oh, you cannot be serious. Sometimes, Gerard. Well, this is great. All right, so for those that are watching, Gerard apparently is coming on literally as we speak. So I'm gonna put us.
Got his head now. There you go.
I'm gonna put us on a different thing here, a different screen, and mute everybody, and then I will get Gerard in here, and then we'll continue. All right, so just bear with us for a second. We're not going anywhere. I'm just, retooling and getting Gerard into the stream. So stand by with us. Hold on 1 second. All right. I think I fixed it. Everybody should be here now. Welcome, Gerard. How are you?
I'm doing all right. There you go.
All right. Let's see. Let's make sure that we can actually hear everybody here. Awesome sauce. All right. So we were going to welcome Kelly to the show. But then
I got the hooks.
Then you
Took her
said,
right
you just booted her right the fuck out, which is awesome because I hate that bitch after last April 1st.
I know, right?
But I introed the two gentlemen here with us, the Sultan of EKGs, the Maha Butchie, and the Phil Foundation, without their proper intro music. So, Mr. Maha Butchie, we welcome you with the proper Maha Butchie music. And if we're gonna welcome the Maha Butchie, we also have to hit the hard rock and welcome the Phil Foundation.
The hard rock.
Even though all I can see right now is Phil's forehead.
Right.
Not really that hard.
Well,
It could be harder.
it could be.
I have harder stuff.
Yeah, we've all heard harder stuff. So getting us started, since we're already long over on this, let me get into the rig check, and then we'll get into this call review. So today's rig check.
Wow, y'all didn't start. Didn't start.
No. Like
Shit.
we waited because it was just going to be me and Phil and Kelly, and then Butch said he's going to be on, so we pushed it back to 6:45. And then Butch was like, I need to get to work, so we need to get started. And I was like, all right. And then literally we had started 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes. And then you were like, I'm coming in. And I'm like, crap.
Coming in ice and coming in.
So let's get into this. Let's get into this.
Definitely some homoeroticism in that movie.
Let me get into this rig check, and then we'll get started. So for the second month in a row, just remember that I did change up the Patreon tiers. If you're still a seasoned provider or a salty veteran, there are still salty veterans in the analytics. Make sure you go into Patreon, change your tier to the Donuts tier. It's $5 a month, and we'll get you access to everything we offer on Patreon, including the new Discord server, as well as access to a free CME via us every 2 months. So that's awesome. Also, join us for our weekly end of tour live stream each and every Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern here on the YouTube channel and the Facebook page and the Facebook group. Ultimately, that's just a fun old time where we're trying to wash that stress of the week away. And this month, we want to shout out to our brand new Patreon, David, as well as our listeners in Alabama and Angola. So
Roll Tide and
who the fuck knows?
Roll Yakfer, I guess. I don't know.
Roll a yak.
Yeah.
So, so as I alluded to on the live stream last night, this call it's frustrating as hell. I don't think it's a very difficult call. Like, I don't think we're gonna be like, oh my God, why didn't they do this, this, and this? I don't think that's a lot to do with what's gonna happen. But I think the outcome is going to be super frustrating for you guys. And I kind of want to see what you guys are thinking as we're walking our way through the call. People in the chat, throw your ideas, what you guys are thinking, and like what you would do or what you would want to see people do in the chat. And, I'll bring that into the stream as well. So your guys' system, the system we have today is a rural community. It's covered by a paid ambulance district. And this particular ambulance district staffs its ambulances with the standard configuration, 1 paid EMT basic and 1 paid paramagician. However, for this particular call, the ambulance was staffed with 2 paramedics. Don't ask me why. Maybe it was just a scheduling thing, but there's 2 paramedics on this ambulance. Now, for particular calls...
Do they have the call volume to sustain that type of shit?
Probably not. Probably not.
You don't that money,
They're probably losing a lot of money right now.
Oh, yeah. You just don't have call volume for that.
Yep. God forbid.
Yeah.
So
what about those things that keep you from breaking your back? Yeah,
no. We don't have the call volume for that.
Yeah.
But in this community, there is a local fire company that gets dispatched to calls if they're of a high enough level. And they send out their EMRs as well as their EMTs. That is the case in this call. So they do get 1 volunteer EMT that shows up for this call. So you guys have, talking hospitals, you have 3 hospitals within the immediate area. You have a 2-bed critical access hospital, which is 10 minutes away. You have a 6-bed ER, community hospital. That's about 35 minutes away.
It's not getting any better.
And you have a level 1 trauma/medical center almost 90 minutes away. So
that's not immediate. That's not immediate area.
Well, it's immediate,
It's a stone's throw away.
Right. It's like, it's next door. It's fine.
Just a
chip shot over the hill.
Chip shot.
So
Dr. Joe.
You guys are going to be dispatched a priority 1, a Delta priority, to a local elderly apartment complex for an 80-year-old male with diff breathing. So I know I ask these questions a lot. Like, what do you think about difficulty breathing? How do you prepare for it? But I kind of wanted to switch it up and not specifically think about like the 80-year-old with the diff breathing. But when you guys get a dispatch of like, okay, adult diff breathing, what is the immediate thing that you are like, this is going to be the cause? To me, it's always COPD, unless like that's what I'm going in with. If it's an adult, I'm like, yep, it's COPD exacerbation until I get there, and it's not.
I don't really think of the cause. Like, gee, what could it be? Because I mean, it could be fucking anything. I mean, it's, they could have been, huffing paint for all I know.
Yep.
But but no, when I like honestly, I don't know. Maybe it's just me being an asshole or having a little too much bravado or something. But when I hear a breathing call come out, what was that?
They're faking it.
No. When I hear a diff breathing call come out, my first thought is, cool, I can fucking fix that. Yeah.
Yep. It's one of the things that we can actually make people significantly better by the time we get them to the ER. Yeah. What about you guys?
I kind of look at like how the weather and stuff. Like if you have like the warm weather, it's probably COPD, or extremely cold weather, COPD exacerbation. But like G said, it could be anything. It could be asthma, it could be an anaphylactic thing.
Yep.
You never know until you get there.
Right.
Yeah, I don't really think of the causes.
So I'm the only one that's like, yep, it's this, and wow, I thought I would not be that. I mean, it's
You're
not
out there all by yourself.
Yep, it is what it is. So the crew ends up calling en route to this call, and they're en route for about 6 minutes. All right, County 911 updates this crew that the patient's difficulty breathing is worsening to now a severe status. The dispatchers also report that the 911 caller is saying that the patient's chest is rapidly swelling.
Wait, what?
Yes. So they're told, the dispatcher tells this crew that there is rapid swelling of the patient's chest reported by the 911 caller. Go ahead.
Is the diff breathing because they were kicked by a mule?
We don't know yet. But trauma definitely now seems to be in play, right? At least I would think so. Like,
yeah.
I don't know.
I've never heard of a chest swelling. Well, outside of a fire.
Right. So.
But, hey, difficulty breathing because you inhaled smoke because the building was on fire and you're all burnt to a crisp. Hey, difficulty breathing.
Exactly. Yeah. So, kudos. And, maybe you guys have some thoughts on this, but I think it's a kudos. We always talk about getting the ball rolling, and I think they really did a good job of getting the ball rolling here. It's at this point in time that one of the medics picks up the radio and asks for a air medical chopper to be put on standby for the call if available. So I thought that was pretty prudent for them. Like, hey, yup, we don't know what's going on, but like we shouldn't see chest swelling. Maybe this is going to go really bad. So right?
Excuse me.
Get to the chopper! So the dual paramedic crew arrives on the scene and exits their rig with their cardiac monitor, first in bag, and drug bag. They throw everything on the stretcher, take the stretcher out of the rig. At that point in time, the fire department EMT arrives on scene via just their POV. No rescue truck, no nothing. Well,
I mean, to be fair, it probably has like a giant, thin red line, freaking flag in the back window, a big old light bar and flashers all over the place. So, I mean, technically it's an emergency response vehicle.
Probably.
Yeah.
They got a first in bag in there, don't you worry.
Oh, they absolutely have a first in bag. Right.
Probably more meds than we care.
And full bunker gear.
Full bunker gear.
All their turnout, yeah.
All of it. So they, the three
They
providers.
come in, they're wearing a Scott pack.
The three providers, they head into the apartment building and they head, towards the apartment. When they arrive at the door, they're met by the patient's husband. They tell the EMS crew that they had come into the living room to feed their husband, and noted that they were having significant shortness of breath and seemed to be in a lot of pain. Yes.
Say all that again? Did you mess that up, or is that?
No, I did not mess that up.
Okay, because I got confused.
It's a male patient with a husband.
Oh, okay.
So,
all right.
Yes. So
It's kind of confused me for a second. I know your proclivity for fucking things up. So
that did not earn a buzzer. Thank you very much. That was me actually not fucking it up. All right, let's do it that way. So the husband of this patient, they tell the EMS crew that they came into the living room to feed their significant other. And they noted that they were having significant shortness of breath and seemed to be in a lot of pain.
Like, was one of them chained up or something?
What?
Like you're saying, like he came into the room to feed him.
Yes.
Like,
we'll find out why later.
Okay.
Phil's like, get out of here! Get out of the.
Does it rub the lotion on its skin? I mean, where are we going with this? I don't like the wording.
Okay, get your mind out of the sex dungeon. All right.
All right.
So
does the whole feeding thing have to deal with what the problem is right now? Is that why we're finding out later?
I don't know. That I don't believe so. Let's put it that way. So when they began to investigate what could be causing this significant pain, they found that he was developing rapid swelling to the left pec area. This is when they became very concerned and called 911.
Yeah, I would be, especially with a spontaneous pneumo.
So let me elaborate on that. My next question was, what are your initial thoughts here? So
that's literally my first thought, and that's the first thing I'm gonna do is bust out the ears and take a listen.
Okay, I like that.
Because then if I don't hear anything on that side, that's gonna kind of confirm it for me.
Okay, what about you two?
Subcutaneous emphysema, I'm looking for, that kind of shit.
Okay.
I think at this point we're way beyond subcutaneous emphysema. We got.
Yeah. We're if the whole fucking pec is swelling up with air, then, and who knows, could even be hemopneumonia. I mean, it could be blood too.
Yep.
So I don't have an X-ray, so I couldn't tell you.
Yes, agreed. And from what I gathered, as of right now, it's a good ½ inch or so above the other pec. So it's not just like a little swelling, but it's rising as this one stays exactly the same.
Stop breathing.
Is there anything that you guys, like Phil, Butch, is there anything that you guys are wanting to see happen going forward?
Lung sounds.
So absolutely. I mean,
especially now, if it's the sudden onset of pain, he's got swelling, be it from air, from blood, or what have you. I definitely confirm if we still have lung sounds on that side.
Right. I think lung sounds is fairly immediate here. Like, this is where we should be going. In the chat, Blaine just put in, is the patient really thin? Would that be something to pay attention to?
Thin, yeah.
And absolutely, like we all learn that spontaneous pneumo, tall, thin individuals. This guy is fairly thin. He's not very tall, but he is, only about 135 pounds. So he's not very big, right? So we'll keep that in the back of our mind as we move forward. So this primary medic begins their initial physical. And the secondary medic takes this time to like take the husband, pull him aside and start, asking questions about all of what's been going on. And the secondary medic's told that this gentleman has end-stage Parkinson's and that 2 months ago he suffered a significant fall outside of the home. This fall resulted in a long hospitalization after they found that he had fractured ribs 7, 8, and 9 and 10 on the left-hand side.
And which side is going right now?
The left.
Okay.
We found the culprit.
During his hospital stay, he developed left-sided pneumonia, was treated with antibiotics, and then finally, he was sent home. He returned home, but was immediately placed in a home hospital bed because he was too far gone with the weakness and the Parkinson's to now be able to walk on his own. There was still bruising on the left side of his chest after the fall, but it had been healing fairly nicely, according to the family. They decline any trauma in the past week and report no recent illness of the same time.
Now he is unable to walk at all.
He is unable to walk or ambulate.
So he can't even transfer out of the bed.
No.
So there's no possible way that he, while nobody was looking, got out of bed and fell again.
No.
Okay.
Nope. So, but really good, good suspicion, right? Like, yeah, the husband didn't see it, but maybe he did something on his own, right? So during this time, the primary medic is performing their initial physical. They find that the airway is open, it's patent, it's clear of any fluid or debris. Breathing is present and very shallow, appearing labored. There is equal chest rise and fall. Peripheral pulses are present and equal in both arms. The chest is exposed where they find that there is heavy, dark reddish purple bruising that encompasses the entire left pec region down through the armpit. There is also swelling noted in the same area that's approximately 2 times the size on the normal right-hand side. So for the visual, you got like, what is this, left side? So all of this is swollen and he's got a huge red bruise here through like under here. So
I think it almost sounds like he's bleeding.
He's what?
Sounds like he's bleeding.
It does sound like he's bleeding, right?
I mean, it looks like he's bleeding, yeah.
Agreed. That's where my head goes.
His chest is probably filling up with blood.
That's what I kind of like am thinking.
Well, if it's a fresh bruise, did somebody give him the bruise? That's you know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, man, you know what?
Taking care of people can frustrate you. And something happens, and you just kind of,
Next thing you know, you're beating on him. Yeah.
Well, no, I was gonna say. I mean, like, I don't know what this dude's demeanor is like with the one you're talking to.
Yep.
I mean, is he kind of sketchy? Because this could be an assault.
Right. Absolutely. And you're called to a medical, right? No thought in trauma or whatever. And yeah, now we're kind of going down that route of like, where did all this trauma come from?
I've literally been to this exact call, and that's exactly what it was. It was, certain age female, fell, now with left-sided, pain. Okay, probably busted a rib, no problem.
Right.
You get to the door, you start hearing people, saying things like, well, you didn't have to push her down, and shut the fuck up, and blah, blah, blah. And then you open the door, and this flop house is immaculately cleaned.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not even a cigarette butt in the gigantic ashtray in the living room, so that got emptied.
Right.
And so, I mean, we didn't go in. I heard that, and I stopped cold. I said, go back down the stairs.
Yep.
Why? It sounds like an assault. And that's exactly what it was. We got the cops to come in there, and she said, yeah, he threw me to the ground.
Yep.
Yeah. It very well could be.
Very well could be. So as we continue this, the secondary medic comes back to the patient and informs their partner of all the information that they received from the family. They then begin to get a baseline set of vital signs. The cardiac monitor is connected. A 4-lead EKG is obtained. The initial rhythm shows a sinus tach at a rate of 120. It's regular.
That's fine.
They also run they immediately do a 12-lead. Shows also sinus tach with no ST elevations or depressions. Yeah, he's complaining of chest pain. He's complaining of shortness of breath. I think it was a good idea.
I'll put my hand up. I probably wouldn't have thought of doing 12 lead right then and there.
I think,
But-
maybe.
But yeah, as soon as you said it, I was like, that's a great idea.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
being that there's 2 of the paramedics, I think it's a perfect place to do it. Get it out of the way.
Yeah, why not?
So blood pressure via the NIBP cuff returns is 99/51. SpO2 is 91% on room air. Respiratory rate of near 30 and a GCS of 15. The patient reports that he is having 10 on 10 all over body pain, but his pain is more significant to the chest area, increasing with any palpation or movement. So lung sounds are finally taken. Secondary medic listens to lung sounds. They hear very diminished breaths overall, with wheezes bilaterally in both apices and rails in the left base.
I never would have thought you'd hear anything with this call. I figured left side would have been absent.
So, and that's kind of where my brain was going. Like, this seems like it would be, I'm going to decompress this at some point in this call kind of thing, right?
That's literally where I was reaching for in the bag in my head.
Right. So just because they heard these weird kind of sounds, right, they asked their partner to also listen. Here's where I listened. You listen and tell me what you hear as well.
Yeah, 2 heads are better than 1.
Exactly. And it comes back again. Very diminished breaths overall. Wheezes bilaterally in the apices. Rails only in the left base.
So he had pneumonia on that side, right?
They did, yes.
Right. So you've got some kind of fluid disrupting everything there in the base.
Yep.
And you've definitely got constriction everywhere else.
Everywhere, right. And the wheezes are bilateral, so it's left and right side for the wheezes. They hear the rails only in the bottom left, and they say they're diminished overall everywhere.
Parkinson's is the only thing he's got.
Parkinson's is the only history. End-stage Parkinson's is the only history. He was on 4 meds. I wrote them down, but they're all Parkinson's meds and no allergies. So, yeah, I didn't write it in the thing.
Those meds have any weird, funky side effects?
I didn't honestly look that up. That's
because I know one of the Parkinson's med causes hallucinations.
Let's see. Hold on, I wrote it down here.
I didn't mean like legit, like give the motherfuckers Haldol hallucinations.
Right. Yeah, I'd have to look it up because just looking at these, I don't even recognize any of them.
Yeah.
So is like with these lung sounds and this like overall presentation, is there like a differential that you guys are leaning more hard to, or is there like a evaluation that you really want to do to kind of narrow into something?
I mean, I'll defer to Maha on this one, but yeah, end title wouldn't be a bad idea for more diagnostics.
I like end title.
As far as like, the thought process goes, I mean, I'm seeing, signs of, let's be honest, that he's tachycardic and hypotensive, so
he's got he's bleeding somewhere.
Yep, agreed.
Yep.
Or losing volume somewhere.
Yeah, I'm going to defer to the Maha on that, just for confirmation, because that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah, I think we're we like you say, we got some bleeding going on with the vital sides. Lung sounds. I mean,
not what I would have expected.
Yeah, no, because there's definitely constriction going on, but then you got the crap in the bottom. So, it's gonna be a tough. I mean, because you want to treat for that wheezing to help it feel better, but then you're gonna spike the
right.
Yeah,
spike the heart rate back up.
And if there's fluid in the base and they're constricted up top, I open them up, they might now have fluid everywhere, and now I
Right.
just made
Yeah.
it even
Yeah.
worse. Like
Yeah.
it's almost like the double-edged sword. Like if I don't help them, maybe they get worse, but if I do help them, maybe they get worse. You know. So I think
Well, we also know that,
CPAP may help that fluid.
that's what I
okay.
was just thinking about.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I was thinking about that for one of two reasons, because I was thinking about it for stabilization of whatever the hell is going on there with positive pressure ventilation,
Yep.
right? And you're going to actually help keep the fluid from, coming over the dike, and you might actually help that that SpO2 problem too.
That's actually a really smart thing. Yeah, I was not cluing in to CPAP until you guys mentioned it. That makes a lot of sense, right? You teach that, with those unequal chest rises, what do? You splint from the inside.
Right.
You know?
But to the providers who did not attend the Mahabuchi School of Paramedicine, I know your first thoughts are, but the blood pressure was 90 systolic, and you can't touch the CPAP.
Yep.
If you have gone through the Mahabuchi School of Paramedicine, then you would know that aggressive airway and ventilatory management trumps everything, because we can fix the hypotension.
Right. Yep.
We can't.
We have
fix
fluid and drugs for that.
Yeah,
Yep.
you can't fix the rest. So as all this is happening, the patient's breathing is still worsening, becoming a little bit more shallow, a little bit more short in each breath, while he's still saying that his chest hurts, increasing with each breath. The providers look at the patient's chest and they find that the swelling is still growing. Now, now approximately 3 times the size of the right pec. Okay.
I'd stick it and see what comes out. Sorry, I mean, I'm not trying to be a dick about it, but does it go whoosh, or does something shoot across the room?
Right.
Yeah.
So the primary medic goes and puts their hands on the chest just to ensure that there's still equal chest rise, because now you can't really tell. The one pec is so much taller than the other, you can't really tell if they're moving at the same time up and down. But they do ensure that there is still equal chest rise and fall. So due to this worsening condition, these paramedics, instead of going the CPAP route or the stabby McStab route, they go a different route. And they
not drugs.
Nope.
Okay.
Sort of drugs, but not really, not in the way you're thinking. They have a quick discussion on whether or not they should RSI this patient.
Oh, Jesus.
So they also ask, what are your thoughts on what's causing all of this swelling? Like, is it bleeding? Is it air? Is it something? Phil, you don't have to raise your hand.
I know one way you can find out.
Yep.
You can find out real quick. Is it air or is it blood?
Yep. Go ahead, Phil.
What's our status on the helicopter?
So you'll find out in a little bit, but they are doing an air standby. So they are on their way. Let's put
Fuck
that.
it, just launch them.
No one has
they're in the air
yet.
They're
Well,
doing standby in the air.
Right. They're
request
in the,
form and fly them out. I'm not.
Right. They're in the air, but no one has actually requested them to the scene yet.
Does this
Fuck it, just
swelling
land
have
them in
a
the
pulse?
driveway.
What was that?
Does this swelling have a pulse?
Not that any of these providers could feel.
That's a good one.
Think it like arterial bleed. The way it's swelling up, if there's a pulse, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a very vascular area.
Yes. And that's
Nothing that looks like Rice Krispies, right?
nothing is Rice Krispies. Nope. It's nice and solid. It's firm. Like
That and the discoloration's leading me to believe it's blood.
How's the neck veins looking?
Yeah, that's the next question.
So I did not have any of that information. They sent me over the chart and there's nothing about JVD in it. So
What about tracheal deviation?
nothing in the chart. So again, I don't know if
They're-
if it wasn't
they're-
there and they just didn't document it or they didn't look. I'm
They're
assuming
paramedics. They don't look.
right. Yep, that's gone. I'm good.
EMTs
So-
check for that shit.
So, while the paramedics are having this, fairly quick discussion, the EMT places the guy on oxygen, just because his sats are ranging anywhere from 91 to 95, just 2 liters nasal cannula, nothing crazy. So the paramedics say, listen, we don't want to intubate this guy right now. We don't think it's necessary. However, if he continues down the road, we might have to down the road. Like, what is his advanced standing status? And the husband says, this gentleman is a DNR DNI. So that's taken right off the table. They're like, okay, whatever. And they say, all right, we're ultimately going to utilize the helicopter because clearly this guy is declining and he's bleeding from somewhere and we have 90 minutes to the hospital.
And we're not going to do anything until the helicopter gets here, and we're going to give it to them, and it's going to be their problem.
Sure.
We're going to let him be almost dead.
Administered 2 liters nasal cannula. There you go.
That was the EMT's job. That wasn't even the paramedics told them to do that. That was the EMT acting on their own. So kudos to them. So,
well, I'm only going to give my half kudos because you didn't look for the JVD or the tracheal deviation.
Okay.
How do you expect me to look good if you don't do your job?
So
they have to save us, so we look good.
absolutely. So the paramedic goes and instructs the volley EMT and the secondary medic like, hey, let's get the extrication process going, and let's get the heck out of here. And they do request the primary paramedic requests the helicopter to land. And again, it's already launched, so they have approximately a 20-minute ETA to an LZ, which just so happens that the LZ is about 20 minutes down the road. So they get him onto the stretcher, which they said was hella painful for this guy. But once he gets on the stretcher, he's fairly okay again. And before they wrap him up, they run another set of vitals. They also check his chest just one more time. So
what was the BP? What was the second BP?
So BP via the NIBP cuff returns is 93/47. Heart rate is 89, no longer 120. Still, it's now a sinus rhythm, regular. Respiratory rate 30, regular and shallow. SpO2 98% on the 2 liters. They do place this gentleman on end tidal at this point, which returns as 28, still a GCS of 15. They look at the guy's chest once more. It went from 2 times to 3 times the size. Bruising's now being expanded. So remember, before the bruising was on the left pec and underneath the armpit. Now that it's now starting to band. It's going down the left flank towards his back and across towards his sternum. Yes, sir.
Where's the pain management?
I don't know.
Where's the line?
I don't know.
And where's the dart?
I don't know.
All right.
Non-existent.
I mean, for him to have such a drop from 120 to 80.
That worries me. What I'm actually kind of pleased to see that it's, still doing, what it's doing was the BP, because if the pulse pressure was starting to narrow, then I'd be worried about something else.
Yeah, but it's
But
widening.
instead, it's widening. So, I mean, I'm not like, hey, this is great. He's like a 90/40. You know, no.
We're still looking at a map of like 63 right now. But.
Right. I'm only half clenched, but I'm not. If it came back and it was 91 over like 78, and the last one we took was 50 die style, like man, I'd be like, chance to get that chopper here quicker.
That would be nice, right? Especially since clearly they're going to, just.
I mean, it's on the left side.
Yep. Right, and that's one thing that I don't know if we haven't really said, oh hey, where is this? Is this
oh my God,
tensioning?
I thought he
is
fell.
this whatever?
You didn't see Phil, did you?
What
He literally like he did this fucking move, looked like he fell over, and then he kind of just popped right back up. I'm sorry, it just
he's matrix.
Yeah, it was almost like he was spring loaded.
Phil, don't do that. It scares Gerard.
I'm sorry, gentlemen, but I have a call.
Oh no!
All right, well, enjoy
I mean,
yourself.
That's kind of how things happen.
Enjoy.
So,
All right, gentlemen, have a good night.
I'll text you the outcome there, Phil.
I'll see you in a little bit.
Oh no, Phil's gonna fuck up every camera.
He's gonna fuck it. Oh, there it goes.
Oh my God!
Now I gotta fix it. Jesus fuck. Phil found it.
It was just the weirdest thing. The way he moved, he just was like looking straight at Olsen. Looking straight ahead, he just went like right out of the frame. When you watch the replay, you'll see what I'm talking about. And I'm like,
he's like doing some fall? It's like Matrix. He's like, he's been doing that a little bit tonight.
Right? I was like, did he fall?
All right, let's get it.
You have a one? Call me an ambulance.
All right. Whew. That was an easy fix. I'm not fixing everything. I'm just
just get it.
We're good. We're good. All right. So as we move forward, the helicopter, they're going to set up an LZ 20 minutes down the road. Apparently that was the only place they could land. Nice, whatever. So they should arrive right about the same time for all providers. So they get them onto the stretcher. Like I said, they run that other set of vitals. And then let's see, going down here. So the banding on the bruising, right? It's down his left flank towards his back. It's now going like underneath the left pec towards his sternum. All of this bruising is still heavy red and purple in color. The providers get him outside. And they begin transport. All right. Both medics get in the back. This volunteer EMT gets up in the front, starts driving their truck to the LZ.
We'll be at the LZ in like by 5 minutes in.
Right. Exactly. So the secondary medic goes ahead, places an 18 gauge into the right forearm. They also hang a 1,000 bag, which they run approximately 400 to 500 mLs in that, time period, the rest of the time period. The other paramedic goes, looks over the rest of the body just to make sure that they, since they're so focused on the chest, did we miss something else? Right. They note that he's got a G2 present in the abdomen. There's no redness or swelling at that site. Other than the bruising, there's no signs of trauma or abnormalities anywhere on the rest of the body. There's no signs of weakness or signs of neurodeficits. And the skin, other than the bruising, is warm, dry, pink. He's not pale, cool, clammy at all. They re-listen to lung sounds. The left is now very diminished. You can kind of hear it with shallow ventilations, but if they say, "Hey, take a deep breath," you hear full air movement. All right, on the left-hand side.
That doesn't add up.
And then the right side is just diminished throughout. There's no advantageous, like
That's
wheezing or
really
anything.
bad backwards.
Right?
So wheezing is gone now?
Wheezing is gone. Right? Hence why I said this call was fucking confusing.
And it's the right side that is becoming more diminished, and the left side you can actually hear whoosh whoosh now.
So it's still very, like, you can't hear it like whoosh whoosh, like it's super clear. These guys are saying that it's still diminished, but you can't really hear it if he's breathing shallow. But if he breathes like, you can actually hear a diminished lung sound. And the right side is just diminished with no wheezing, like there was wheezing prior. So
I'm not a pulmonologist, but I'm pretty sure this is a bad thing.
right? When things don't add up, it's
never
typically a bad thing, right?
Right. I mean, you think about it. I mean, human beings. I mean, yeah, you want to talk about homeostasis all the time. That's pretty much, we're usually A plus B equals C when it comes to the physiology of the body. When you have something like this, it's completely fucking ass backwards. It's gotta be fucking. There's gotta be some bad shit coming.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. This isn't just some little thing to a little butyral.
Right. And it just
This
goes
is,
away.
Hey, drive faster.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
let me give him some
This would be some
Decadron. It's fine. He'll be fine.
No.
So, they let's see. They where the heck did I leave off? Okay, so they do vitals because now it's like on a 5-minute rotation. The next set, BP returns is 95/61. Heart rate maintains at 85, still a sinus rhythm on the monitor. Respiratory rate increases to roughly like 40. Still shallow. SpO2 is 98%. End tidal 26. They also take a blood sugar at this point. Why? I don't know, but it returns as 260. Good for them. While this,
Because they knew as soon as they freaking got the patient into the fucking hospital, the first thing the nurse was going to ask is,
what's
did
his
you get
blood
the
sugar?
PG?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a vital sign. Let me check it off my box. Bullshit.
Oh, my patient had someone tear his fucking arm out and beat him with it. Yeah, his blood sugar was 130.
So the now that there's an IV established, the primary medic gives 50 micrograms of fentanyl IV for the pain. They have the chest exposed, so they're looking at the chest again. They notice that it's still equal rise and fall, and the left side is now about 4 times the size of the right. The entire pec is one big bruise, and the band has reached underneath the middle of the sternum, and it's reached around to the start of the left side of his back. At this point in time, they arrive at the LZ, where the air medical team is waiting. The flight crew enters the rig, and they hand over care, give a full report. The flight team switches over to their equipment. They do their own, detailed physical. They don't find anything that these paramedics didn't already find. They tell the ground medic, like, hey, you still got 50 of fentanyl in your vial. Give it. So the guy gets another 50 mics of fentanyl. Right before the flight team leaves, they take another set of vitals because it's their initial set.
Right.
This is the last one that I have. The BP returns is 99/63. Heart rate remains at 85. Respiratory rate's 24.
He's fixed.
What was that?
He's fixed.
Yep, totally fixed, right? Give him pain meds, he's fixed.
Yeah.
SpO2 is 98%. He's still on the oxygen. They switched over the end tidal. That remains right around 25. So the flight team gets him over into their aircraft. They lift off. They transport him to the medical center, which is approximately a 25-minute flight. So The really cool thing about this call is that this crew was able to get me the updates from the hospital as well as the aircraft crew. So I have more information than I normally typically do at the end of calls. So during the flight, the swelling increased to about 5 times the size of the right pec. The band of bruising expanded across the sternum to just underneath the right nipple. No expansion was noted on the left flank, so nothing onto the actual back, just across the front. The flight nurse reported that they did not hear any breath sounds on the left side by the time that they landed, though he exhibited no signs of a tension pneumo. He was unloaded to the ER, and care was transferred. So before I get to the hospital update, what do you guys think overall?
It's a tough one. It's like it should be an easy, like you say, easy respiratory call. You're thinking ABC, and all of a sudden you're like, what the hell's going on?
Right.
But even their findings isn't consistent with what was actually happening. Because they're saying that there was nothing going around anything other than the left flank.
So,
and yet we were reported them seeing it, like creeping around the back.
Nothing further.
Nothing further on the left flank. So it didn't grow. It only grew on the front.
Yeah.
I mean, a pneumo, I mean, at this point, you get up in the air, it's going to make that thing worse. So
yeah, less pressure.
I mean,
but it's not that significantly less, unless they're going up like above 6,000 feet.
Right. Which, I mean, they're not gonna do that, So the update that I have, and this is what makes me blow my mind.
UTI.
So the flight team gives another 200 micrograms of fentanyl during transport for pain management, right? They did not do any other interventions other than run some more fluid, give some more fentanyl. When they drop them off, they gave their report to the ER staff, and it was explained as though they were, they said like, hey, the bruising, the swelling was getting bigger. It was expanding. It was getting worse. That's what ground EMS saw. That's what the flight team, saw and told the ER. And the ER was just like, yep, sure it was.
Whatever.
Go completely away. Didn't believe the flight team on this story. Yeah, so the ER, they admit him after finding that none of the original rib fractures that he's had from 2 months ago have healed. They admit him for a period of 4 days, and then they send him home. There is no mention of bleeding, causes of bleeding. There's no mention or treatment of any of the banding or why it was caused or anything.
Probably didn't call it COVID.
Right? So it's like, so now I'm sitting here and I get this call, and the update, when I originally received this call, I'm reading it and I'm talking to the crew about it, and they're like, yeah, we don't have an update yet. And I'm like, okay. I'm thinking like you guys, this is like a hemothorax, it's a pneumo, it's a hemopneumo, it's spontaneous bleeding. Like, I just want to know what kind of bleeding this was.
I'm probably completely thinking outside my ass, but did this, like, the guy was alert and talking, right?
Yep.
He didn't mention, like, he didn't feel like maybe he got bit or stung by something?
No.
Okay, I'm just spitballing.
I mean,
because the wheezing is kind of like, it just doesn't seem to fit anywhere.
Right.
But
now,
it went away by itself.
Swelling,
But
hypotension, swelling, wheezing. I'm starting like, maybe it's some weird kind of fucking allergic reaction. I don't know.
I mean, and you're not. I mean, yeah, this could be like a cardiac asthma type thing too, in that the wheezing is there because there's some sort of fluid in there and they're closing down. But then all of a
But
sudden, he doesn't
went
have
away.
fluid anymore. I don't know. This call, I have no idea what to think about this call.
Maha was about to speak.
Sorry, go ahead. I didn't hear that.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't understand because his symptoms, although got better, he got worse. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
wheezing went away, the rails sort of went away, but he was getting worse with no interventions. Like they just threw oxygen on and said drive fast,
Right.
and nothing else was done.
Yep.
Usually you have to throw meds at that to make things better. He's getting better, but why?
Right. Right. But yet, like, he's getting better, but yet his symptoms are worsening.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
and, like, to me, I'm sitting here and, like, I understand where you guys are thinking, like, decompress.
Honestly, I'm going to be, like, straight up fucking, like, I have no doubt in my mind that, and I know maybe in this case I probably would have been wrong. I wouldn't have known it at the time, but, here we are in this setting. I'm sure it's probably going to be wrong, but yeah, I probably would have fucking stuck it.
Yeah.
Just from based on what I saw, I would have freaking put one in.
So what was it overall that would have made you think like that? I'm just curious.
The increasing
swelling
with the discoloration, the difficulty breathing, the weird sounds that I'm hearing.
Yeah.
It's all leading me to believe, hey, something's going on. Plus the recent history, maybe they missed something and it punched through or
right.
whatever. I don't know. Or maybe he's just one of those guys that has the bleb and off it goes.
Right. Right.
So, just based on what I saw, before we started heading down the road, I probably would have fucking put one in and see what comes out.
Yeah, I would have been intrigued to see. I would have enjoyed to see what that would have done, because like, is it just gonna have blood? And then you're thinking, okay, well, like, is it in the lung or did I not reach the lung? Because I mean, those 14 gauges, they should reach, but now there's 2 inches, 3 inches of swelling on top.
But yeah, I was thinking I probably would have went.
And that's
fifth
it.
intercostal.
And that's it. Like, then positioning is even more important too, because now, like, okay, are you going to go in, in the chest, or are you going to go, in mid-axillary, Yeah, I think, and how many people really do mid-axillary needle decompressions nowadays? Okay. You are not the norm. Let's put it that way. Butch, what are you thinking overall with this one?
Yeah, like I say, it's confusing, but I would have started with the CPAP first.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Probably done the CPAP, see if it helps stabilize, and then probably done a never something just for the wheezing, because it does, when you push, open those lungs up, put the Atrovent in there, so everything's opening up. You can push that fluid down, dry it up a little bit, and see if that helps.
Right.
Hey, and with, another interesting little bit of diagnoses would have been with that CPAP. Hey, you get any relief from that pain?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you're supporting those ribs from the
right.
inside.
Bingo.
You're supporting those
Right.
ribs. Yep.
Yeah.
It's definitely
that would have told you something.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And and that's kind of the crazy thing, knowing that, like, all of those ribs were still broken. Did he move the wrong way and clip an artery, and now he's bleeding everywhere?
Is he
or
fucking,
like
vitamin D deficient and his fucking bones just don't fucking heal like they should?
right.
Because of his Parkinson's and everything else,
Right. Yeah. It's just, it was such a wonky call. I couldn't wait to bring it onto the show and hear what you guys were thinking about it.
What was the diagnosis in the end?
Nothing. Rib
So you
fracture.
sent him home.
They sent him home. There was literally no mention. These providers told me that there was zero mention in the update of anything that caused the bleeding, the swelling, or the banding. Nothing.
So it was all a figment of their imagination.
Yep, 100%.
didn't really happen.
It did. They didn't find
It's
a reason.
being handled by top men.
Top man, Lois. Top man.
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 Yup.
You see nothing.
Yeah. I don't know. It was wild.
But what about the bleeding? Top men.
Yeah, top men. So yeah, I don't really have anything, to really go over in this one solely because,
hold on.
I think we
Yeah,
did.
hold on. That's what I thought I heard. I heard Emily yelling, "Pops!"
Hey, at least we got her blood sugar and there were no wet bandages. All right.
That is true.
She should have been here instead of been at the Rangers game. So that's her fault. But I appreciate everyone for tuning in. If you're watching on the
Even though we
live,
have no answer for you, but sure.
Okay, how many times do
Pool
we?
or a pond? A pond would be good for you.
How many times do we get to bring a episode where we don't actually know? We always know. This is like one of like 3 where we're like, fuck if I know, it was interesting. And the outcome infuriates me because I want to know. Like, it infuriates me.
Yep.
This is where you need a little clip in your little board there that pops up with the little clip from Starship Troopers. Where do you want to know more?
Yeah, right. Yeah, watch this episode where we talk about things that we actually know the answers to.
Yeah.
But yeah, if anyone, comes up with something, you're free and welcome to email the show, info.medicmaterials@gmail.com. And and send me information. So thank you all for joining us again. And we will see you on the 15th of the month? Yeah, the 15th of the month. So kudos to everybody and stay safe.
Friday too.
And that's right. The end of tour next Friday. So Gerard, lead us out.
Numo Donuts.
Thank you for listening to today's episode. If you want more information on the podcast or to send us a car review, please visit medicmaterials.com/podcast. To learn more about earning continuing education credit from listening to this episode or others, check out medicmaterialscmeacademy.thinkific.com. We appreciate your continued dedication towards EMS education and helping us advance the field. See you next time.